Buddhism, meaning the Enlightened One. In this video, I will be discussing Buddhism, but I will not focus primarily on the origin story of the Buddha himself. Instead, I will apply the 7 dimensions to Buddhism. The 7 dimensions were created by Ninian Smart. They include doctrines, ethics, myths, experiential, social, material, and ritual. With these 7 dimensions applied, we will uncover Buddhism's main beliefs, ethics, the primary literature, experiences from the rituals, the social aspects, religious objects, and we will understand the rituals themselves. Now, Buddhism first began in India during 563 BCE. The story is focused on Siddhartha Gautama, a prince who was shielded away from the harsh realities of life. He grew up under the watchful eye of his father, protected by the palace's large walls. At one point in his adult life, he went outside and was revealed to the 4 passing sights: an old man, a sick man, a corpse, and an ascetic. It was here that he realized that age, sickness, and death were unavoidable. Leaving his wife and son, Siddhartha went on a spiritual journey where he derived himself of any true possessions. On this journey, he sought out the answers to the haunting questions of suffering, disease, age, and death. After many days of starving and searching, he meditated underneath a Bodhi tree. It was here that he became enlightened, thus becoming the Buddha. When awakened, the Buddha realized that everything is unified by suffering, and that there is a way to appease the suffering, which leads us to our first dimension, doctrine. Within Buddhism, many believe in the middle way, which is a path between self-indulgence and self-denial. One must live in between the luxury and lows of life. One has to be in the middle. Though, this isn't the only belief within Buddhism. In fact, it is believed that everyone is trapped in a continuous cycle of birth and death. This is fueled by the previous actions of our past lives. We are serving out our karma. The Buddha paved out a way for anyone who wants to move past suffering, and these are the 4 noble truths. The first noble truth is DUHKHA, which is life involves suffering. According to Harvard University's website, which is linked in Lesson Plan 5, there are 3 types of DUHKHA. Quote, first, there is the ordinary suffering of mental and physical pain. Second, there is suffering produced by change, the simple fact that all things, including happy feelings and blissful states, are impermanent, as is life itself. Third, there is suffering produced by the failure to recognize that no I stands alone, but everything and everyone, including that we call ourselves, is conditioned and independent. End of quote. 2. Suffering is caused by desire. 3. There is a way out of suffering. The third noble truth discusses the achievements of nirvana. No, not the band. I mean the feeling of bliss. According to Google, nirvana is, quote, a transcendent state in which there is neither suffering, desire, nor sense of self, and the subject is released from the effects of karma and the cycle of death and rebirth. It represents the final goal of Buddhism. 4. The fourth and final noble truth is the Eightfold Path. This will be discussed more in the next dimension, since I believe it has to do more with ethics. But this must be applied at all times to achieve the state of nirvana. The second dimension is ethics. Now, this dimension is more ethically based, and it is perfect to talk about the Eightfold Path. The Eightfold Path teaches one how to behave, quote-unquote, right. In Buddhism, wisdom is a habit, and the Eightfold Path backs us up. This path is also considered to be the steps to take in order to be free of suffering. It is a path to enlightenment. The Eightfold Path consists of right understanding, right intention, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration. Now let's go into a bit of a detail with each path, okay? First, let's take a look at the right understanding. Now, this is to know truly and deeply, one has to be aware that wrong actions and thoughts have consequences. Right intentions are recognizing that actions are shaped by habits of anger and selfishness, or by habits revolving around compassion or love. Right speech is recognizing the implications of speech or truthfulness. Right action is accepting that the 5 precepts are the foundation of all morality. Side note, the 5 precepts are also very important for the ethics of Buddhism. 1 should not kill, steal, lie, engage in sexual misconduct, and never take intoxicants. Right livelihood is to earn a living that falls in line with the basic precepts. The right effort is to live life with the attention, patience, and perseverance that it takes to cultivate a field. You can grow a beautiful field the same way you can grow and make your own life beautiful. Right mindfulness is to develop a quote-unquote peace of mind through meditation practice. Harvard University's website states, quote, including mindfulness of breathing, mindfulness of walking, and mindfulness of bodily sensations, end of quote. Finally, there is right concentration, which develops the ability to bring the distracted mind and heart to a center, a focus, and to see clearly. The goal of the Eightfold Path is to discover the fullest potential in oneself, and it is vital to follow these rules to live a golden life. This brings us to the third dimension, which is myths. Now, there are many stories/tales within this religion. The one that I chose was introduced to the class by Professor Diem. It is a Dhammapada Buddhist text, and this contains several texts focusing on the words of the Buddha. It focuses mainly on the ethical aspects of the Buddha's teaching. The entire book is really about how to behave. It was almost as if I was reading a handbook about how to maintain proper behavior as well as how to live a golden life. The section that stood out the most was the world, which is section 13 on page 37 of the PDF file provided. It states, quote, rouse thyself, do not be idle, follow the law of virtue. The virtuous rest in the bliss in this world and in the next. Follow the law of virtue, do not follow that of sin. The virtuous rest in the bliss in this world and in the next. End of quote. To summarize, it is important to always follow the law of virtue and to never stray from the path. The way one holds themselves is important, and you must never be tempted to fall into the venomous trap that will force you to sin. If you live a life full of virtue, then the rest of your life will be blissful. That's all the Buddha really wants. The next dimension is experiential. By following the Eightfold Path, living a virtuous life, and through the practice of meditation, one will finally be enlightened. This is when you finally escape samsara, and the cycle of being reborn is broken. Buddhists who finally reach a stage of nirvana will finally see the world for what it really is, and has been described as being free. Any worry or feeling of attachment is just cleansed, and the feeling of joy surrounds them. Enlightenment is the goal of a Buddhist, and it's just an experiential feeling altogether. The next dimension is social. It's important to know about the social aspects of Buddhism. Let us first talk about Sangha, which refers to a community who have devoted themselves to the teachings of Buddhism. This community is very important because they inspire others to practice, and they are able to share aspirations together. Fun fact, there's actually a Sangha Day, which is one of the most important Buddhist festivals. On this day, you can celebrate the Buddhist community, and one can reaffirm their commitment to the Buddhist traditions. The festival consists of chanting, exchanging gifts, lighting lamps, meditating, and just sharing the wonders of Buddhist teachings. Another prominent figurehead could be the famous Dalai Lama. Now you're probably wondering, why is this figure so important? Are they some sort of president? Now, let's remain respectful. The Dalai Lama is a head monk to the Tibetan Buddhism, as well as the Tibetan government. The picture you are currently seeing is the 14th Dalai Lama, who is the current one. The Dalai Lama is said to be the reincarnation of Bodhisattva Shinrikyo, who at one point renounced nirvana to help others. This compassion is said to be the key element within the Dalai Lama. Just from watching videos of the Dalai Lama, you feel at ease and you feel at peace. The next dimension is material. Every religion will have something that connects to the religion's history, whether it be art, a figure, or a tree. In Buddhism, a prominent symbol would be the Bodhi tree. It's an ancient fig tree that the Buddha became enlightened underneath. In various artworks, you can see him meditating underneath it. At the moment, it is still currently alive and well. It's located at the Great Awakening Temple, the Ma Bodhi Temple. I'm terribly sorry if I butchered that. Which brings us to the important buildings within Buddhism, temples. The Great Awakening Temple is ancient, but it is newly restored. It is located in the village named DUHKHA. Once again, I'm terribly sorry if I did butcher this. Many visit the temple to see the tree and to give thanks as well as to meditate. But there are many other temples located around the world for Buddhism. Unfortunately, we do not have the time to go through each one. I do, however, recommend looking into the temples yourselves, since each one is rich in history and knowledge is power. There is something I would like to discuss. I am sure we've all seen this statue somewhere. In the notes for our class, our professor refers to him as a fat, laughing Buddha. According to Professor Dayam, quote, "The fat Buddha, or laughing Buddha, is not really Buddha, but Bodhisattva. He is sometimes referred to as a future Buddha, known as Maitreya." End of quote. This is just good information to know so you won't be confused. At one point I too was confused and considered him the Buddha. But now we know the difference, so he won't have to make that mistake again. We now come close to the end, and it brings us to the seventh dimension, which is ritual. There are many mantras, which is a sacred utterance. There is a prolonged significance, and it can penetrate through the deepest unconscious mind. A mantra are ways of showing devotion to the Buddha's teachings. There are also mudras, which are symbolic gestures used in dances, rituals, ceremonies, paintings, etc. Though, in my opinion, the most important ritual to know of is meditation. This is very important since it can help one reach enlightenment. It takes a strong mental concentration and mindfulness, and it is vital for one to control their breathing. Meditation is a calming center effect. Personally, I've only meditated a couple of times, but during these times, it's as if you're disattached from the world. You're at ease and in peace, and all your worries are just free. It's very hard to maintain concentration, and many monks who do meditate, or anyone who meditates as a way of a lifestyle, do have a calming effect, and they're able to maintain their concentration no matter what distractions, which I find awe-inspiring. But we have now come to an end. We've discussed the 7 dimensions within Buddhism, and I hope you've all learned a bit more, because I learned a lot more just teaching you all about the 7 dimensions of Buddhism. It's been a process because there's just so much to know about Buddhism, and it's hard to try to compile everything in a video that's 1 hour or less. I do recommend researching on your own time about more dimensions or just other things within the Buddhist religion. I hope you all stay safe. Have an amazing semester. Goodbye.